So who did y'all have as your pick for Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank? The ones that won it, I didn't pick them, but I'm glad they won because they're pretty much a sentimental favorite. I thought I was going to go a certain way because of one person didn't want to push, and the other one that could possibly be a future world champion. But I'm going to give my full thoughts, review, results, and everything on Money in the Bank 2020. Money in the Bank 2020. What did I think about it? You know, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that are not pleased with the final result, the final product. I'll talk about that at the end of my review, but let's talk about the event itself. We had a pre-show that showed Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro, and Jeff Hardy hits a swanton on Cesaro, and Jeff Hardy picks up the victory. That was the only match for the pre-show. Now let's go to the main show, and I'm just going to give you the results. I'm not going to go into it too long because I want to focus on the Money in the Bank briefcase match itself. Ladder match itself, I should say, not briefcase match. Well, it's a briefcase in there, but you usually don't say that. You usually say Money in the Bank ladder match. Okay, but let's go into the main show. And we had New Day versus the Forgotten Sons versus Miz and Morrison versus Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado for the SmackDown tag titles. Fatal 4-way tag match. The New Day retain with the Midnight Hour. The match was pretty much like the match on SmackDown. We had 8-man tags, just a bunch of spots, a bunch of high offense, a lot of the same stuff we see in these type of matches. The New Day retains. That's what it is. I was hoping there was a one glimpse. I thought the Sons were going to win it, and there was even a moment where I thought, let's say Dorado and Grand Metalik were going to be the champions. But what do you want to say? The New Day retains. A match that should have been on the kickoff, and then Jeff Hardy and Cesaro should have been in its place, and they had, at first it was R-Truth and MVP, and then all of a sudden out comes Bobby Lashley, replaces MVP, and Bobby Lashley in the end hits the spear for the pin. Later on, in his crazy ways, his messed up mind that sometimes he doesn't understand where he is, he actually thought R-Truth thought that he wrestled MVP and said that he beat him. Now he's going to go look for his friend, as he says, and that is the 24/7 title. I don't know. He's how many times is he champion now? 47 times now? He's going to go after Tom Brady. But we know it was Rob Gronkowski that's the champion. So I don't know. Really weird. He's something out there. I'm still entertained by R-Truth. I hope he stays WWE forever. He's just great. Now, Bayley versus Tamina for the SmackDown Women's title, and Bayley has a 211-day reign thus far. Thought that Tamina was going to win. They even had a Twitter post that she had. They showed it, and it was pretty entertaining. It shows that she has a little bit of character, but in the end, no distraction by Sasha Banks, because she actually hit her super kick, did Tamina, and she's going for the Samoan drop. I believe she hit the Samoan drop. Well, no, she didn't, because she was distracted by Sasha Banks. And in the end, Bayley sloppy roll up. It looked like something that like what Sonya Deville did. But it was like, not that, but it was like Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, where it was just so sloppy. And again, it looked like Tamina's shoulders were up. So that's the kind of thing that roll up that is so sloppy. Doesn't matter who does it. It always ends up looking bad. And Bayley retains. I don't think any of the titles really changed hands. Nothing changed hands. We're gonna go with Braun and Bray for the Universal title. And it was pretty much the match you'd expect. A lot of domination from Strowman. Now Bray guided some offense in. He was able to really stop smiling and stop laughing, and he started being sadistic, and he started putting it really to Braun. But in the end, Strowman, well, he comes in with the mask on, and Bray thought that he was coming home, right? Rejoining his family. But Braun takes the mask off, stomps on it, and hits Bray Wyatt with the firebomb, and he successfully defends his Universal title. Then we see a little vignette there, a little thing where the hacker, and he pretty much says that no one is safe, and he's watching, and you see all the video of every superstar, not only in in the ring or whatever, but even private stuff. So it's like there's people that are saying that it's CM Punk, and there's even people that are saying that it's Ronda Rousey. Who knows who it is, but it's pretty intriguing, and this is the one thing that they can keep going and keep letting it happen, because it's kind of intriguing. People have their theories on who it is. I don't really have a guess, really. I mean, it does look like CM Punk, but I think they're doing that so that they kind of swerve you. But let's go to the final match, meaning the final singles match or final match before the Money in the Bank, and that is Drew McIntyre versus Rollins for the WWE title. And this was a pretty good match, pretty hard match. These guys pretty much just threw everything at each other. Rollins would have the advantage. Drew would have the advantage. He tried to go for the Claymore. Rollins would hit one or two. Will actually hit one stomp, and then the other one he tried, and then Drew just stands up. He headbutts Rollins. Rollins bounces off the ropes. He hits the super kick, and then when Drew bounces off the ropes, and that's how he usually is able to do that. Don't ever, let him duck you when you try to clothesline him, because he'll bounce off the rope, and then what happens? He hits you with the Claymore. That's what he did with Seth Rollins, and he retains the title. And at the end, he goes to shake fallen Rollins' hand. Goes to shake his hand. He gets up and actually shakes his hand, and I'm thinking, is this a way for Rollins to become a babyface again? Because with me anyways, I'm tired of his whole gimmick. But he has new music. It's no longer the Burn It Down music, so I think he's going to still be this Messiah. But I think he needs to kind of change it. Maybe become a babyface again, but who knows. Now let's go to the Money in the Bank. And ladder match was, it was pretty rough, just because of the fact that it's the first time they're doing it. You had these guys coming out. The women were started in the lobby. The men started in the weight room, or the workout room, training room. And they come out by twos, All of them come out, except for Asuka. Where's Asuka? She's like on the upper floor. She's like on the upper level. And she's, she stepped over the ledge, and once the men started and then the women started, Asuka dives off and lands on them. And I'm thinking, holy crap, because it's like they're not on the mat, they're not on a padded thing. It's a hard lobby floor, and I'm pretty sure the ladies felt it. And I even looked at Carmella, and she kind of looked like she was in real pain, but she sucked it up, and they continued this match. And we saw some guest appearances, Brother Love coming out of the bathroom. We had someone that had the music of Doink, but didn't look nothing like Doink. Maybe they don't have the rights to his image anymore. I don't know what it was. Maybe they have the rights to the music, but not to the image, because it was a completely different looking clown. I don't know. It's like, Doink 2020. I don't know. But then we saw Stephanie McMahon, because what happened was Dana Brooke, in one of the segments, they're in the Money in the Bank corporate or the Money in the Bank office, or the more Money in the Bank meeting room. And then she's able to, everybody's knocked out. And then she pulls down the briefcase, which is a replica, and then Stephanie McMahon goes, Dana, this is the Money in the Bank meeting room. Pretty much telling her you need to go to the roof. And one thing that's so stupid is she goes, you're damaging the office, you're damaging the building. I go, what do you expect? You have a Money in the Bank match. They're gonna gingerly throw you across into a wall, or they're gonna walk around a display and not destroy it. I mean, so stupid when they're doing that. But she made an appearance, and then Paul Heyman was sitting down eating, nice looking spread, and then all of a sudden, Otis starts shaking, Ultimate Warrior style, and then like I don't know if it was an homage to Bluto from Animal House. He just yells out "food fight," and he throws a pile of stuff on Heyman, and then they all start getting into a food fight. A food fight, really? What is this, like back in the 80s, or even like circa mid 2000s, where they always had a food fight? It never has anything to do with wrestling. It always seems so gimmicky. Like, we don't have anything to do, so let's just have a food fight. And it's funny because there's some funny spots in there. Nia Jax and Otis, they end up squashing Ray, and then Ray gets choked out, or Shayna Baszler's trying to choke him out. I'm thinking, okay, man on woman action there, a little intergender stuff there, but unfortunately, well, before I get that thing, but Johnny Ace, is there. Why? I don't know. He gets a pie in the face by Otis. Otis notices the pie. Otis is a big eater, and he's like, "Oh yeah," looking at the pies. Otis gonna get him some pie, but I go, so he's gonna throw it in someone's face, and he does. And I just keep noticing though that Asuka started out. She ran into the elevator and she went up, and she at one point, looks out the elevator after other women start going up the stairs. Why didn't Asuka just keep going up the elevator? I mean, I think some of the elevators probably would stop at a certain floor, so she had to get out, go to another elevator. I think that's probably how they planned it. Why didn't she keep doing that? And then why didn't she just keep doing that? It's just like, I mean, I'm thinking, hey, they need to stretch it out, because it would be easy for Asuka just to get in there, end up on the floor, on the top floor, and then go for the for the briefcase. Why not? But like I said, they just wanted to keep the match going, stretch it out. And then another funny segment about Bryan and Styles, they're duking it out, and they end up in an office, and it turns out to be Mr. McMahon's office, and he pretty much looks at them and goes, "Get the hell out." And then Bryan and Styles are like talking, and Daniel Bryan goes, "Hey, you don't want to something about the chairs." And then Styles like, "Oh yeah, I did do that." And then they start fighting again. Now all of a sudden, we see Corbin is able to pretty much take everybody out. He has a scepter with him, and then you hear him go, "Now I'm going to the roof." And all of a sudden we see women on the roof, but it's Nia and Lacey. And then it's followed by Asuka. Then we see the first man come in, which is Corbin. And then one thing that was it was so stupid, like Asuka's on one side, Corbin's on the other side. She reaches for the women's briefcase, and then Corbin's trying to prevent her. And then, Asuka kicks him off. I'm thinking, you stupid idiot, like, why are you worried about her taking, that's the women's briefcase. She's not taking yours. I don't know if he had a brain fart or what it was. Even when Cole and Corey Graves were recapping it, they go, "Oh, she kicked him off with it." And I'm going, yeah, but you guys didn't mention that. Why is he worried about the women's briefcase getting taken down? But in the end, after all the actually only those three women were only the ones that everybody. I didn't see Dana, didn't see Shayna, didn't see Carmella. And in the end, Asuka pulls it down. Now, back in my mind, she was like my favorite, my sentimental favorite, because someone that I wanted to win. But I was thinking they're gonna give it to Nia Jax because they're pushing her. She's the irresistible force. So why not? She came back recently. She's not gonna lose. They gotta push her, but they didn't. They gave it to Asuka, and I'm glad. She can now add this to her accolades of championships she's won at WWE, or honors like being Money in the Bank. She's the first ever women's Royal Rumble winner, former NXT Women's Champion, and a former SmackDown Women's Champion, and former Tag Team Champion. I think she needs to win the Raw title, and I think she's going to go after it, and then she'll be the Triple Crown Champion like Bayley. But she wins it, and that's that. The other women don't even show up. I'm like, and again, they're stalling Shayna again. I guess they really don't want to push her anymore. Why wasn't she even at least up there? How come none of the women were at least, everybody was there, at least do something? But, that's how it is. And then Otis, comes in. He's followed by Aleister Black, then AJ Styles, and then Bryan arrives. Now all 6 are in the match. Well, Ray and Aleister Black actually get tossed over the ledge by Baron Corbin. I know AJ was saying that he was going to do that to them, but I guess they gave the honors to, Baron Corbin. Now, Baron Corbin was on the ladder, and so was AJ. And they were battling over it. There was shades of the SmackDown tag team titles where all of the men had a hold on it. But this time it was AJ and Baron. They pulled it down, but they both had their hands on it. In comes Elias, and he gives Baron Corbin a guitar blast to the back. He falls off. AJ has it, but he fumbles it, and then who ends up with it? Otis. I'm like, yeah, I thought Aleister Black would get it just because he's a guy that I think that they would want to build. It'd be a pretty good opponent for really for anybody, but for him to have it would be pretty cool because he'd be lurking in the dark. Whoever the champion is would have to look over their shoulder, But Otis was another guy that, in the back of my mind, I had chosen because that I wanted to win. I don't know about choosing him, but I wanted him to win. It's like with Asuka, I wanted him to win. But there were circumstances I thought that they weren't going to even have a chance, and these are 2 unlikely people, especially Otis, And they're talking about, and I've been hearing about that he is being pushed. Pretty soon we're getting a big push from WWE. There you go. I'm thinking he probably is going to go after Braun, because I think Braun and him would have 2 big alpha men going at it. Charisma on Otis' side, and then Braun is just larger than life. It'd be a pretty decent moment when you see him cashing in on Braun. And you imagine it would be great if it was a crowd, because the pop would be so big for him, or for Otis if he goes to cash at it. But like I said, Asuka is Miss Money in the Bank, and Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank. So unlikely, but at the same time, I'm happy that these 2 won the briefcases. The match was what it was. WWE, I don't know. You're going to get a lot of heat from fans. You're going to get a lot of people saying that they didn't like this match. I'm not saying it was awful, but there's a lot of problems. There was a lot of stuff like filler stuff. Like they had to put the food fight in there. They had to put the guest surprise appearances, which were silly. The food fight, I've never really liked it, in a WWE program or anything. It's just like a means to connect the dots. It's filler. Like, we ran out of ideas, so let's let them all end up in a cafeteria and just throw food around. It looks silly. Shayna Baszler is badass. Someone who kicks ass and all that stuff. She's throwing food around. At least she went after Ray and tried to choke him out. That was actually pretty good. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of interaction there. I don't know if that's going to be an opening to something happening later on. Maybe they're going to have intergender matches. Who knows? But that looked pretty good. And just, I just know that I feel like this is going to get a lot of bad heat from people. People are going to complain about this. Well, there's a majority of people. There's like a percentage of the universe that always complains about everything. They're never happy. But this one, I would totally agree if they didn't like it. I'm not saying that it was bad, but ooh, there's a lot of problems, a lot of filler, a lot of stuff that didn't need to be there. They should have just made it straight up, have them fighting, battling to get to the top. This was cinematic, so they could have did everything. They had the good music in the background. They had great edits and great camera angles. You didn't need that because that was like all that. That was like for the entertainment value. But overall, Money in the Bank was, no titles changed hands. The matches were basic. If I were to pick a good match, it would probably be the WWE title match. Because it was very, very hard hitting, going back a lot of back and forth, a lot of high offense, a lot of getting their stuff in, and storytelling. They were doing pretty good in that department as well. But no title changes. The Money in the Bank ladder match, it was a mess at times. Like I said, a lot of filler, but I like the fact that Asuka and Otis are the Money in the Bank briefcase winners. Because then you can see some interesting stuff happening with them. Asuka with her wild craziness, just getting on the mic and just saying all kinds of crazy stuff. She's on commentary sometimes, and it's just entertaining. Otis, I don't even need to say anything else about Otis, man. We know what he does. We know what he brings to the table, and it's great. It's great. You give it to somebody else, man. You know what I mean? You give it to somebody who unlikely, but this may make him a big star, especially when he cashes it in. And now it's a matter of just letting him get a lot of victories. Get him away from Dolph now. Have him wrestle singles matches and build his rep. Let everybody see what he can do as a singles wrestler. Because according to rumors, I think Tucker is out. My Heavy Machinery is no longer together. I mean, that's what they say. It's just that Tucker, we haven't seen him in a number of weeks. I'm hoping he doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but that might happen. When you break up teams, usually one ascends, the other one either falls or he just stays right there. And he just fades away, being a jobber or whatever. But I think they picked the right guy to push in that team because Otis has a lot of just great. He's a great, what's that word? He has a lot of charisma. He has a lot of talent. He's got a lot of just likability. And a lot of people are behind him, and I am too. And I'm glad he's Mr. Money in the Bank. But that's my review of my thoughts and my review and the results of Money in the Bank for 2020. I enjoyed it, for what it was. It's like a lot of problems with it, a lot of, because like I said, no titles were changed hands. And I could only say this one match that I liked, and that was the WWE title match. But I didn't hate it. It wasn't garbage. It wasn't awful. I watched it and I was able to sit through it, and it was what it was. But the only thing I liked about it, of course, like I said, the results of the Money in the Bank, the winners, I agree with that, and also the WWE title match. Those are the highlights of this match, and of this event. But that's my video. And for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care. Please remember to subscribe, click like, and click the bell icon for all notifications on this channel.